all of these players, whether or not they grew up idolizing Caitlin Clark, a lot of these were cooked by Caitlin Clark. Like, they were absolutely cooked.
It's March Madness, but the real madness, it's happening off the court. We're heading into the NCAA tournament, and it's already a circus. The stars are talking, the fans are debating, and the drama is hotter than Angel Reese's X feed after a championship game she didn't play in. We've got Flau'Jae, who says she's got unfinished business with Caitlin Clark, a ton of doubt about how the NCAA tourney ratings will fare without Caitlin, and Angel Reese, well, she won a championship without playing, trash-talked like she hit the game winner at the buzzer, dropped a $50,000 flex, and whether she tried to or not, again reignited the pay debate in the WNBA. We've got respect, rivalry, and reality checks on the menu. Let's break it all down. But first, like this video. It'll help your team win March Madness. Not really, but I appreciate the support either way. All right, let's talk Flau'Jae Johnson, LSU's junior guard and rapper who's officially got Caitlin Clark in her crosshairs. In a recent interview with Complex, Flau'Jae didn't hold back. She admitted straight up she wants a rematch with Caitlin Clark. She wants to settle the score. And honestly, who doesn't want to see that? Let's rewind. Last year's LSU versus Iowa game was an instant classic with more tension than my waistband after Thanksgiving dinner. Flau'Jae was in the mix, but it was Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark that stole the headlines. The year before, Flau'Jae was also part of LSU's championship win over Caitlin and the Hawkeyes, but all the attention was on Angel Reese, who did the famous "You can't see me" and pointed to her finger to taunt Caitlin. This made their 2024 matchup that much bigger. In that game, Caitlin and Iowa ran away with it, tying Caitlin and Flau'Jae's head-to-head record 1-1. Fast forward to now, and Flau'Jae's making it personal. She said, "I gotta wait until I get into the league to break that tie. She's definitely the hardest opponent I've ever played against, ever in my life." That's not just talk, that's respect with a mission. And here's where it gets interesting. Flau'Jae, despite being an NIL machine and one of the most marketable athletes in college sports, is still a junior. She's got another year before the WNBA. So while Caitlin's getting ready to go for WNBA glory, Flau'Jae's setting the table for her run and trying to carve her legacy right now in March Madness. Now compare that tone, respect, competitiveness, love of the game, with some of the other comments we've heard lately, specifically from the old guard. Let's recap what just happened. Remember Natasha Cloud? Yeah, she's the one who was recently critical of Caitlin Clark's fans.
But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played.
To be fair, she's not saying anything bad about Caitlin herself. In fact, she's saying that she's one of the best players in the league. But to suggest complaining about Caitlin Clark's treatment is racist isn't exactly the kumbaya energy the sport needs right now, especially when addressing the fans that will make it easier for the players to negotiate a huge payday with the new CBA. But Flau'Jae, she's taking a different and much more positive approach. And it's not the first time. A month ago, she gave thanks to Caitlin for her impact on the women's game.
All right, and the last one, man, last topic. I just want to show love to the women hoopers. Angel Wilson and Caitlin Clark, they both got their jerseys retired. Both of these ladies inspire me and made history and grew the game in ways that we could have never imagined. So, man, I just want to give them their flowers and tell them y'all are amazing.
And she's not alone. Juju Watkins, who is chasing Caitlin's college scoring record, has gone on record praising Caitlin Clark's game and that she's always proud and cheering her on. These new stars want to challenge Caitlin, not tear her down. And they're doing it with respect. So here's the pattern. The younger stars, they're energized, hungry, ready to compete, not complain. And while they're gunning for Caitlin's spot, they're doing it in a way that elevates the game, not divides it. Meanwhile, some of the veterans seem more focused on dismissing her impact or trying to twist her success into some kind of controversy. Now, it's not everyone. Legends like Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller, who've done it all, have been openly complimentary of Caitlin, recognizing what she's done for the sport. And then there's Caitlin's new teammate, Sophie Cunningham, who openly gave her credit for bringing attention to the WNBA.
I just think she's had a lot of pressure on her shoulders, and I think a lot of people, no one's walked in her footsteps, and so it's really easy to judge and to say things, but at the end of the day, we all need to empower each other and be there for each other. I think she's done a lot, not only her, but that rookie class. They've brought a lot of attention to our league, and it's needed. Like, this is what we've always wanted, and so why would we not embrace them and make sure they're good? And so when we first played them, I was like, hey, keep doing your thing. Like, you're doing a great job. If you ever need anything, reach out.
But yeah, with the younger players, the energy shift is noticeable. This new crop of stars, Flau'Jae, Juju, Paige, they're breathing new life into women's hoops. And maybe, just maybe, they're about to undo the toxicity that's been dragging the discourse down. Imagine a world where rivalries are fun, the drama stays on the court, and respect drives competition. That's the kind of environment that's going to grow the game, pack arenas, and bring in casual fans. Flau'Jae versus Caitlin, Juju versus Paige, these are the matchups that change the landscape. And with the NCAA tournament about to kick off, it's time for the young stars to shine. Comment with the team you think's going to win it this year. So with all this hype heading into March Madness, let's talk about the biggest question on everyone's mind. What happens when Caitlin Clark isn't there? This is the first tournament since Caitlin, and people are wondering if women's college basketball can keep the momentum, or if the ratings are about to fall off a cliff faster than Simba's dad. Yeah, I went there. It's not too soon. Anyway, here's the early intel. ESPN's senior VP of production stepped up and gave her take. Ratings are actually up 3% across the board this season, which, considering the fact that Caitlin's been gone, is a massive W for the sport. That means fans are still tuning in. People still care. But, and here's the kicker, she also said that the 18.9 million viewers who watched Iowa versus South Carolina last year, that's a number they probably won't reach again. Not this year. Let's pause for a moment. 18.9 million. For a women's college basketball game, that's insane. More people watched that than the NBA Finals by a country mile. That wasn't just big, that was historic. And ESPN's VP is being real about it. She's predicting 12 million being a possibility for this year's championship if everything breaks right. That would still be massive, but it also proves a few things. First, Caitlin Clark was a game changer for women's college basketball. We're talking a generational talent, the kind of player who doesn't just get fans in the seats. She gets people who don't even watch sports to tune in. She pulled the casuals, she lit up the headlines, she turned Iowa, yes, Iowa, into must-watch TV. Let's just take a second to appreciate what that actually means. Because this wasn't UConn, Tennessee, or South Carolina, schools with historic women's basketball power. This was Iowa. And yet, because of Caitlin Clark, every game she played felt like a national event. She sold out arenas, broke TV records, and basically put the NCAA on her back. And the numbers, they speak for themselves. Her 2024 national championship game against South Carolina brought in a peak of 24 million viewers. That was more than the men's final. But here's the thing, Caitlin didn't stop there. It was the same story when she turned pro. Her second playoff game, it pulled in over 2.5 million viewers. More viewers than the WNBA finals. Let that sink in. A rookie in her first postseason beat out the league's championship series in viewership. That's not normal. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. She's a walking TV ratings spike, a jersey sales machine, and the only reason many casual fans even know what channel the WNBA is on. But with that kind of draw comes a reality check. Drop-offs happen. Once Caitlin left the NCAA, it was inevitable that some of those casual fans would follow her to the WNBA. We've already seen it in the pros. Her WNBA games smashed records, but when she wasn't on the court, viewership dipped, and the same thing is likely to happen in March Madness. And that's okay, because even with a dip, the women's college game is still hot. And now that Caitlin Clark's taken her talents to the WNBA, the spotlight's wide open, and a new wave of stars is ready to grab it. Let's start with Juju Watkins. She's a sophomore dropping 30 pieces like it's routine, already in the convo to chase Caitlin's all-time scoring record. She's got major hype, national TV games, and brands lining up to sign her before she's even eligible for the draft. Juju's not just the future, she's right now. Then there's Paige Beckers, back from injury and ready to remind everyone why she's considered to be the top pick in the upcoming WNBA draft. She's got the fan base, the game, and the marketability. It's her last March Madness, and people are tuned in. And Flau'Jae Johnson, already a dual threat, a start on the court, blowing up in music and media. She's stacked with brand deals and bringing in fans beyond sports. Her following is massive, and it's only growing. So yeah, Caitlin lit the spark, but these stars are ready to keep the fire burning and keep those ratings climbing. And guess what? It's not just good for college ball, it's a lifeline for the WNBA. Because if the NCAA can keep these numbers strong without Caitlin, and the young stars keep shining, the WNBA is going to ride that wave for years to come. Here's the opportunity. College ball's staying hot, the next generation is ready, and Caitlin's setting the table in the pros. If the WNBA plays its cards right, we're talking about sustained growth, bigger paydays, more fans, and maybe, the end of the people are only watching Caitlin Clark narrative. Women's basketball has never had this kind of momentum. Let's just hope they don't fumble the bag. Speaking of fumbling the bag, let's talk about Angel Reese, because she's back in the headlines, and this time, she didn't even have to step on the court to stir things up. Here's what went down. Angel's unrivaled team, the Rose, just won the league's first championship. Cue the confetti, the trash talk, the ex-posts, you know the drill. And to give credit where it's due, they were ranked last, so it's a solid reminder why you play the games. But here's the plot twist. Angel didn't play. Yeah, she was sidelined with an injury, but that didn't stop her from celebrating like she hit the game winner. Fans, of course, had thoughts. Many were happy for her, but some said the only reason the Rose won was because she wasn't on the court. Others joked that she got a ring before Caitlyn, which, let's be real, unrivaled isn't exactly the WNBA finals, so maybe chill with that take. But the real heat came from her paycheck. For being on the winning team, Angel pocketed $50,000, solid bonus. But then Caitlin Clark's new teammate Sydney Colson jokingly hit her up like, "Hey, toss me some cash." Angel's response? "I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm on a rookie contract, and that $50,000 was a little more than half of my contract, so I have to keep that to myself. Sorry." And X immediately caught fire with fans calling her out for constantly complaining about money. Let's break this down. Angel Reese is estimated to make millions in brand partnerships. We're talking endorsements, commercials, appearances, the whole nine. So it's hard to find sympathy for her in the Twitterverse when she brings up her WNBA pay. But her comment reignited the WNBA pay debate, which Angel's been front and center on for a while now. Let's not forget, Angel was one of the first players to threaten a strike if the new CBA doesn't meet their demands. She basically said, "Pay us or we're sitting out." And now, she's back on the mic, drawing attention to her rookie contract not being enough. And she's not alone. Other players are starting to speak out, pushing for more money and better benefits, including Nafisa Collier, who recently talked about the leverage the players have and that they're prepared for a lockout. Now listen, the ladies are going to get their payday. That new media rights deal will more than triple league revenue, and hey, if the league can afford it, give the players great pay and benefits. But is the strike talk really necessary? I mean, we just went over all the positives. How the next generation of players is bringing energy and respect. How college viewership is strong even post-Caitlyn. And how the WNBA has a shot to grow like never before. But WNBA players talking about work stoppages? Fans are just starting to care. Casuals are tuning in. While some may say that now is the time, when the league is at its hottest, to make your play for the big bucks, it's also risky. Because from what the viewership and attendance numbers suggest, from teams moving their games against the Fever to NBA arenas, and from 15,000-seat sellouts for preseason games, it looks like most fans right now are here for Caitlin Clark. And if a strike hits, and the 2026 season's paused or canceled, the casual fans could be gone. Juju Watkins is chasing Caitlyn's scoring record. Paige Beckers is ready to take on the WNBA. The future is bright, but the way to earn more: lead with talent and a stellar on-court product, not complaints. Do what Caitlyn did. Push the game forward. Challenge records. Build rivalries. Earn the spotlight. The league's finally rising. Let the talent speak. Let the game grow. And get what you've earned while ensuring the league and teams can continue to support the next phase of growth. Simple. So here's the bottom line. Flau'Jae Johnson wants the smoke, but she's bringing respect and competition, not drama. The NCAA tournament is about to test if women's hoops can still pull big numbers without Caitlin Clark, and early signs say yes. And Angel Reese? She's winning rings, cashing $50,000 checks, and keeping the pay debate front and center, even when she's not playing. Any way you slice it, it's March, the WNBA season is 2 months away, and we're talking women's basketball, which is a good sign of things to come. Drop a basketball in the comments if you're still here, and subscribe for more updates. See you next time.